holds, steps up, Huntley, sacks, T.J. Watt! NFL history! Watt has tied Michael Strahan's single-season record. Oh, no!
In the air to right. This is deep, and he did it again! Jack Sawinski wins it for the Pirates! 3 home runs in a game!
Thank you for watching our Pittsburgh Sportsline show on Comcast 21, only in Bethel Park. Thanks for watching us on Verizon 32 in Bethel Park and all the way from Nemacolin, Cranberry, Wexford, and the city of Pittsburgh and everything in the greater Pittsburgh area. We appreciate you. We're somewhere around 6,980 some likes on Facebook. We thank you for that. Thanks for all the great feedback and all the good things. We got to promote Pittsburgh Sportsline channel, yes, on YouTube. Pittsburgh Sportsline channel. We're at 113 subscribers. We know Smokin' Jim did it early, and you know he knows thousands of men and women. At least you could get 900 of them to like the page, Smokin' Jim. I need you to work on that.
I gave it a shout out at Juneteenth, but I'm not sure if they came through.
Well, we're not, disclaimer, he's not racist, he's black, but he talks like that. And anybody's welcome to like my show. And if you're watching us on streaming on Pittsburgh Sportsline Facebook, I'll announce who's watching. And we appreciate all of you. Thanks for the feedback and everything else. I'm Al Levine, the talking machine. Smokin' Jim Frazier is not going to talk negatively about the Pirates. He got free Pirate gear. Chip Hayner's back every other week. Chip and Guns are here. Chip is highlighting a true Pirate fan, what they do. Tell them what kind of hat that is, Chip.
It's the 2023 4th of July.
You're getting a preview.
Wow.
You got that with...
Yeah.
Wow,
this is the new one.
Smokin' Jim.
Yeah.
What's unusual, folks, we got to divert a little. Some people actually tell the truth. Like he didn't go to some street in neighborhoods we don't mention publicly unless we're smoking, and he didn't buy it for $5.
I didn't get it out of somebody's trunk.
and the size 27 yellow shoes he has on today, we got to put that on air later.
No, those are banana boats.
They are, truly. All right, the other co-host is Nick, VIP Callis, otherwise known on 93.7 The Fan, where he's a producer and sometimes host, fill-in. He's called Harry there. And we're going to do our promos like Nick and I combined on, and we're going to start them right now. Pittsburgh Sportsline supports the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette Strikers. I worked there for 36 years. My former union, CWA PPMWS 14842, Pittsburgh Local Mailers Union number 22, is on strike. Even though health care benefits were secured for workers by the union, Post-Gazette management cut them out without the union's approval and still expected workers to show up without any coverage. Please cancel your Post-Gazette subscriptions online or in print. Pittsburgh Sportsline supports the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette Union Strikers. Frank Fanera, owner of Olive Oil's Pizzeria in the Hillcrest Shopping Center on Route 88. Call them at 412-831-1900. Every Tuesday night, Olive Oil's Pizzeria provides the host and the amazing volunteer crew with an XL pepperoni pizza and a full steak hoagie. They are delicious. Olive Oils is proud to support Pittsburgh Sportsline and the volunteers at BPTV. Stay Joey strong. Joey Fabus died at 8 years old of brain cancer known as DIPG. Since then, the family has come together with community members to create the Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation, a 501c3 nonprofit. Since being founded, they've raised over $100,000. Go to jfccf.org to learn more about DIPG. to help spread awareness and to see how else you can support and donate towards the fight against this dreaded brain cancer. Always Be Smiling, a 501c3 designed to help children and families in need of kidney transplants. The B stands for Bennett, whose memory is embedded in this organization by his parents, Kristen and Dean. Despite the challenges he faced in his 16 and a half years of life, Bennett always had a smile on his face and spread kindness to everyone he could. Now, Always Be Smiling wants to pass on that kindness. Go to alwaysbesmiling.org to learn more and see how you can support or donate to this organization. The Bethel Park Community Foundation has money for you. I'm Al Levine, trustee on the board of this great organization. The BPCF focuses on raising money to provide scholarships, grants, endowments, and more. Grant requests are available online from $100 to $5,000. You can also attend fundraisers or donate. Go to bpcf.org to get more information and to stay up to date on upcoming events. The Bethel Park Community Foundation, focusing community resources, building for the future. The Bethel Park Historical Society is a 501c3 that serves Bethel Park. The Historical Society operates out of the Schoolhouse Arts and History Center, located at 2600 South Park Road. Look for the red and white trolley right out front. Reginald's Coffee is inside, and I've heard it's the best coffee around. To visit this great historical venue, email historicalsocietybp@gmail.com.
The Municipality of Bethel Park presents the second annual Park and Play Series, scheduled to last through the summer and into the fall. All 8 events in this series are free, and most take place in the beautiful parks around Bethel Park. The kickoff event is the Fitness and Fun for All at Village Green Park on Saturday, June 17th. The Park and Play Series also features the ever-popular Summer Spectacular and Fireworks Show, this year to be held on Friday, June 30th. For a full list of events and details, go to bethelpark.net/parkandplay. You can also get updates by following the Municipality of Bethel Park on Facebook. The Bethel Park Park and Play Series. Fun, festive, free. And now this message from BPTV.
Alas, poor talking machine. I knew him well. A fellow of infinite jest, of most excellent fancy?
Dave, I'm not dead. I'm still doing Pittsburgh Sportsline every Tuesday night and many other weekly shows on BPTV.
That's great, Al, but then who's this?
I don't know, but we must leave right now. Let's go. Help save Pittsburgh police officer Jeffrey Crawford. Jeffrey is in need of a kidney donation. He's in stage 5 renal failure and he's on dialysis 3 times a week. He needs this kidney ASAP. To contact the UPMC donor registry, call 412-647-4438 or go to livingdonorreg.upmc.com. And to help spread awareness, use the hashtag #BlessJeff on socials. Let's come together to support Pittsburgh policeman Jeffrey Crawford in his time of need. Alex Reed is in need of a kidney. 2 weeks after college graduation, Alex's kidneys failed. A gracious donor gave Alex 7 years of life, but now he needs another kidney. To learn more about becoming a donor for Alex, call 830-285-2140 or go to kidneysolutions.org. Zhang Taekwondo just opened a new location in the South Hills. along with its location in Wexford and its inclusion in the curriculum of Provident Charter School in Troy Hill. Zhang uses Taekwondo to teach its students confidence and self-discipline through physical fitness. Zhang is offering a 4-week special. You get a uniform and lessons for $30. If you mention the Talking Machine, Smokin' Jim, or VIP Nick, they'll give you a further discount. For more information, go to zhangtkd.com or call 724-934-9264. Okay. Ralph Williams is watching. Hello, guys. Amy's finally back. She said, "Welcome back, Chip. Sorry I haven't been on there for a while. My dad is was in the hospital again. He has RSV and is on oxygen. We've been praying for your dad, Amy. Hope you're doing well." Paul Haley's watching us. Paul Haley says, "Greeting, guys. Watching live on FB and SC." All right. We're going to do What's on Your Mind? Smokin' Jim Frazier.
Thanks, Al Levine, the Talking Machine. And if you want the green,
Coming at you.
got the...
Oh!
Deontay drops.
That's it, man.
He's his mentor.
And I tell you what, Al Levine, the Talking Machine, I'm not giving up hope. I got my power gear on. I know they got 8 losses in a row.
7.
It's only 7! But I tell you what.
What did I say about him?
The Talking Machine.
Oh,
Hey, I can tell you guys this for a fact. I don't know anybody that don't get drunk at a Taylor Swift concert. Al Levine, the Talking Machine, that don't get you in trouble. What gets you in trouble is when you think you're in Columbus, Ohio, and you're on the north side at 8:30 before Taylor comes on. But, hey, I feel bad for Bob Huggins. He had a great career. I wouldn't even get 1,000 wins. He was only a few wins away. But, hey, just one shout out.
About 80.
Yeah, about 80.
87.
Your perspective is
77.
amazing. What angle you came at there?
Here's before I go to Chipper, I'm just going to take just a few seconds just to congratulate Ralph Williams. He has a radio show now on Beaver County Radio. It was his debut today. And I tell you what, Al Levine, the Talking Machine, of all the things Ralph Williams does, he is an absolute natural on the radio. I was so proud to hear him today. Congratulations, Ralph. Good luck.
I got to put a disclaimer on. Smokin' Jim's never been known for being a modest man. Guess who Ralph Williams stole as a co-host? One of my best friends, Smokin' Jim Frazier. I salute both of you.
Thank you, sir.
Because, hey, I have no competition. You do whatever you think is best for you. That's what I say. And if you're talking sports in Pittsburgh, I respect that. We're going to cut away from Smokin' Jim because he's he's going to be regularly upset about the Pirates because he's wearing pirate gear. A little tease for later. You will hear negativity. First, Anthony Bacco, thanks for watching. Hello, guys. Have a good show. Amy, I'm on vacation. Chief is watching. Thank you. All right, Chip Hayner, what's on your mind?
Well, it's an interesting question. But
Oh, thank you.
yeah, I was talking with Alan off the camera before the show.
Yes, you were.
And we were talking about a certain subject, which will remain nameless at this point. And we were talking about the hypocrisy of it. And
Yes, we
that's
were.
what got me thinking about what's on my mind is hypocrisy.
Hold it, not Smokin' Jim in this case.
No, it has nothing to do. There's no shot at Jim, no shot at Nick, no shot at Alan.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
We'll carry on.
you know, but yeah, you look across professional sports, and there have been a couple of events that have happened recently that I think just display the Hippocratic nature of some of our major professional sports organizations. First one I'll start with is the PGA Tour and the Live Golf Tour. Now, these are two entities that were sniping at one another back and forth, and the PGA Tour was the one that wanted to take the high road and stood on the higher moral ground.
So they said.
So that, you know, we're above what the Saudi Arabians do. You know, they murder reporters.
Yeah.
They chop them up into little pieces in their basements. These are not the kind of people that we want representing our lovely sport. So the Live Golf Tour, with its deep, deep pockets, bought some of the biggest stars from the PGA, and these two...
Only about 40 of them.
Yeah, so these two were existing laterally. Well, interestingly enough, about 2 weeks ago, it comes out that the PGA decided to merge with the Live Golf Tour. And I was like, well, wait a minute. Whatever happened to the higher moral ground that you were holding yourself to? And what it boils down to is that the PGA was in financial trouble. So how do you fix a problem like that? You reach into the Saudis' pockets and you start yanking out some of that cash. And they say that they did this for the good of the sport. And I find that very hard to believe because any integrity that the sport may have had is now gone. And it was a money grab, just so that the rich could get richer. Are we going to have a better product than we had 2 years ago?
Yeah.
I doubt it. Okay, I mean, golf is going to put more people to sleep than
And
soccer.
Chip, just to interrupt you, what about the loyal players of the PGA like Tiger and Rory? How about they got backstabbed?
Exactly.
And that's what I called it.
Tiger Woods got offered
And then-
$700 million and said no.
Right. And then look at like Phil Mickelson. He's like a hero to all of them. They got their money. And then here's what's so sleazy about it. The Saudis, we know they're responsible for whatever they've done, and their money
Civil rights abuses and all the other
and mistreating women and all that. But the PGA Tour is now going to be a partner with Live, where the regular PGA is separate, but the PGA Tour was started in the early 1900s, an American institution. Now the Saudis own it.
Yeah,
How nice is that?
Which to me, I expect ratings to kind of nosedive here, and it's going to end up hurting the sport more than it's helping. My second example.
Can't wait for this one.
Well, the second example goes right back to the NFL. And we know the NFL has always been suspect because, they claim to be concerned about player safety, and they're going to have just about every team playing on Thursdays because everybody knows that, grown men can, recover in 2 days from the abuse they take on a football field on Sunday and be ready to play on Thursday because that doesn't increase the player's risk for injury, does it? But,
how about, before you go on, they believe in, like, people with CTE, like Smoke and Jim suffer, that they think that doing a 17th game won't put them at additional risk. Now, how does that even make sense?
Wait, that's
why I figured it'd lead in.
That's until they come up with the 18th game. And believe me, that's on the horizon.
It was before.
That's on the horizon. But, here's the thing.
Sorry to interrupt you on that.
That I hear the NFL talk about, and this has gone on since the early 60s, when Paul Hornung was suspended for gambling. Alex Karras, some of the biggest names in the sport in the 60s were suspended for gambling.
He knocked out a horse and didn't get suspended for that in a movie.
Right.
How could that be?
But, we talk about the integrity of the game, okay? And ever since sports betting became legal, we no longer are really worried about the integrity of the game because, once again, these sports books opened up their pockets, and the NFL is now reaping in billions of dollars.
Yes, sir.
And to think that somehow, some way, and you look at the scores, the games, and the point spreads.
Why are they so close?
And well, here's my question: why do they have an injury report? Okay,
I asked that years ago when I saw that.
Well, they did that for Vegas. Yeah. So
Thank you for the answer.
So they're in bed with the sports gambling institutions, taking all their money. Yet they're going to punish their players for betting while they're on a team's facilities. Now, there's a report of some knucklehead that lost $8 million, in betting, which is just a perfect example of what happens when you bet. The house is always going to win.
Just look to your left.
But what makes them think that they're not allowed to gamble when they're on the team's property?
Facility, yeah.
Yeah, so what's to say that they can't go somewhere else and that their betting can't influence the outcome of games? If they really were concerned about the integrity of the game, don't accept their money. Okay, don't provide them with injury lists, and let the game be pure. But I know that's very naive thinking and kind of unrealistic on my part, because we all know that it's this what makes the world go around. But the hypocrisy of penalizing players for betting, even if it's not on NFL games, if it's legal, then why are they getting punished?
Yeah.
That's what's on my mind.
Thank you, Chip.
Sound like you did a 180 on the Pete Rose.
Not at all.
That's what it sounds like.
If you're going to
It sounds like.
If you're going to mention Pete Rose, here's my answer to you. Rule 21, paragraph D. Read it.
The betting's legal.
Thank
Rule
you.
21, paragraph D. Read it.
Well, Smoking Jim's damaged. Not officially, any doctor can call in and verify that. But when he can't answer a straight answer, how old are you? And I never lie. I'm an honest man. Then you can explain where he's at. So we're going to go to what's on your mind, Nick.
So, Spoken mentioned Bob Huggins in a way that's not great. So I'm going to change the perspective on that a little bit, because shouldn't be too smiley about, a lot of that. It's very serious. Thing that he did. I'm sure you know all the facts by now. Blew a .21. Spoken even said he thought he was in Columbus driving on the north side on Taylor Swift's opening night in a WVU car with a flat tire, with empty alcoholic beverages opened in his car in the back seat. So a lot of bad things, right? A lot of not good things. So also John Morant was caught on social media with a gun again after he was. Yes, he was. He took a video waving it around. It's unbelievable what some of these people are doing. So I'm going to revisit the morality thing again. I've seen people on social media, on Twitter, talking about how, why is our first reaction to punish these people? Why are we, why aren't we helping them first? Why isn't the first reaction here to help these guys? And I don't get. Bob Huggins made the same mistake over and over and over again. This isn't the first time getting a DUI. He also dropped that F word that's a homophobic slur on the air, again. So, he's making, mistakes over and over and over and over again, and that's a big problem. John Morant doing the same thing, making mistakes again and again, and we're acting like we should forgive these people or have some sort of, sympathy. These people need help. Guys, if people are making the same mistakes over and over again, they should not be able to keep their jobs. They shouldn't be able to stay in that high power. They do need to get the help. I see so many people talking about cancel culture as well. Bob Huggins was not canceled, as many people were saying. He got to keep his job until he screwed up in that way. All the facts against Bob Huggins, that's just crazy. All those things going together, blowing the 2-1, being in a WVU car and a flat tire on the north side on Taylor Swift's concert opening night. It's crazy to think about how dangerous of a decision he made. Okay? I'm just saying, it's serious. So what I can't understand, though, either is that, we talk about, specifically with John Morant, people are like, that's not a moral thing. Guns exist in our country, and that's fine. Listen, the NBA, the NCAA, all the big sports organizations, they lift people up, okay? They bring people to be bigger than, normal life, because we all look up to these people. We're all influenced by these people. John Morant would not be in the position that he's in to influence without the NBA. That's just a fact. So, in turn, you've got to hold some morals together, because all ages consume sports. Mm-hmm. All sports are designed to be consumed by all ages. Now, not saying that guns are a bad thing, and this is not the show to talk about gun control, but the bottom line is that there's a certain age you need to be to own a gun. I know that for sure. So if you're creating this whole gun culture, guns are cool, let's just wave them around, you're not really sending the right message to people. So it's not necessarily a gun issue. It's more about how are we influencing people. Not everybody can own guns, right? There are children that aren't old enough. Same thing with alcohol. And you're sending the message that, this really cool, this really popular WVU basketball coach, he goes around and he parties and he drunk drives. Not a big deal, right? Nothing bad happened. That's kind of the message you're sending. That's why we got to stop that message from being sent.
That's all it is. So it's not necessarily about cancel culture. It's not necessarily about, any of that. It's about holding people accountable. It's not necessarily about just blindly punishing people as well. When people make mistakes, they've got to be held accountable. And they've got to be held accountable the first time. There can be a situation where Bob Huggins gets help and doesn't get to keep his job. There's a situation where John Morant just needs to not be an idiot.
Well, how about get help for him?
Yeah, get help for him.
He's young, and who he hangs around with, peer pressure is the strongest thing any of us will face in life. I've seen it. And peer pressure in the NBA, look at how rich he is. Look at the $1 billion he can make. And guess what? It's going to be gone.
And I hate that these people.
It's going to be gone.
These people think that they're so big too. It's the entities, it's the
law.
organizations that are holding these people up. John Morant would not have the same exposure without the NBA. Bob Huggins would not have the same exposure without the NCAA and divisions and the reputation that WVU's had over the years as a sports or the athletic programs with that sport. So that's all I'm saying is, like, there are things. Sports should be consumed by everybody. You don't want to send the wrong message. You don't want to make things seem cool that shouldn't be cool. Guns are tools at the end of the day, and drinking is for adult recreation. Should not be exposed. Those two things should not always be exposed to those who are not ready to be exposed to it. And people who are young enough and not able enough to make their own decisions, they're not old enough to be able to understand the responsibility of their decisions, you might be influencing them the wrong way. So that's why it's all morally incorrect. Not cancel culture, not any of that nonsense. It is morally wrong. Send the right message to the entirety, the whole spectrum of age groups that get to consume sports on a daily basis.
Well,
That's what's on my mind.
I got a couple points after that.
To speak to your point, it's not so, and I completely agree with you, 100%. But what we do is we continue to enable these people to be able to make the same mistakes over and over and over again because there is no accountability. Now, Bob Huggins lost his job. Great. John Morant, he's going to get suspended. Well, here's the problem with that.
He's already a two-time.
Wait, here's the problem with this. He's going to get suspended, and there's going to be a laundry list of owners with a blank check ready to hand it to him the minute his suspension is over. So we're enabling this kind of behavior by continuing to let these people work in the environment.
But the problem John Morant has, he's a two-time offender already, and he got caught lying to Adam Silver. So now he'll be a three-time offender. They're saying it could be a year or more. This was before he did this again. They were talking about it because I watch this stuff. And what you're talking about, Nick, we have a right to bear arms in the Constitution. We have, not to get too political, but we have something called the NRA who infected our whole country. We have more guns than we have people. We have 330 plus million people, and there's like 360 million guns because they don't have laws. We're the only, like, one of the greatest countries out there, but one of the only civilized countries that has mass shootings all the time. And why is that? You have a party of people that have no accountability in our government. You want sports who were helped by Congress and Senate and everything else with being nonprofits. So the parties out there are reinforcing the bad management that the sports put out there to boost up these kids. This is history. A lot of people aren't part of this history. Some of us old school people go, we would have never thought to go in a bar unless we're Plaxico Burress and shoot ourselves. I knew guys that had guns, and they all had permits and were tested and everything else. What happened to that? Now, mental illness is running rampant in our country, especially during COVID. People need that help. But, and this big but is the truth, if you keep doing the same thing again and you're not getting suspended, not getting fired, why would you stop?
Yeah.
And who, like all these people that want to cancel everything and get rid of it, how about for once help one of these people or find somebody in their community that can help somebody like a John Morant who could have been the next billionaire basketball player, but he's not going to be. Who was going to help Bob Huggins when I said on the show a few weeks ago, they did a poll with coaches. This was on national TV. They did a poll with the coaches, who would you most want to have a drink with? You know who they said? Bob Huggins. So do you think he was a drinker then and for 30 years?
Does this not make you think, too, that he was drunk during that Cincinnati radio show?
Yes, that's what they alluded to. And we were saying yes, and that's
the
why.
craziest part of that whole thing. The guy could have a driver that fast.
Yeah,
he could have somebody drive him from here to Columbus,
Well,
back and forth, and he
was a
could drink,
company
and he
vehicle,
could
too.
drink his face off, and it wouldn't matter. But then, no, he got behind the wheel, and
That's
so
scary.
that means that he's comfortable doing that.
Let me go over this one more time, Smokin. He was on the north side during Taylor Swift's opening night, blew a 2-1 after driving drunk in a West Virginia University-owned vehicle with a flat tire and open alcohol containers in a trash bag in the back
The
seat.
tire was actually shredded, so the tire went flat.
Flat
and
shredded
he kept-
into the
he
tire.
kept driving to the point where the tire became shredded.
Wow.
It was messed up. So that
How he didn't
you
kill
know all
somebody?
that?
No, he just sees the headlines.
Come on now.
He just sees headlines. That's what they are. I got a headline. Smoking Jim just spoke the truth. He didn't know.
Yeah, that's how bad it was. Wasn't even his own car.
And he thought he was
Taylor
in
Swift's opening night in the north side. Terrible.
And he thought he was in Columbus?
Yes.
But this was like at
just
8:30.
stopping it.
This was like
8:30.
8:30. So
The sun wasn't even down, and he was stiff.
How about this too?
Corpses don't have that much embalming fluid put in them.
I heard he drove from Columbus and he stopped in Washington for a Whopper at Burger King before driving north on 79. It's not fun. It's not funny, but it's
I know
kind of
it.
funny. But it's not funny.
I'm glad
terrible.
nobody got hurt.
Well, that's the only good thing about it, except for one man. He hurt himself, just like John Morant. You talk about
didn't know about
self-destructive
that, Bob
people.
Morant.
These people are self-destructive. They need help. Because why would you screw yourself out of millions of dollars? Why would you screw yourself out of fame? Why would you screw yourself out of being the livingest coach with the most wins at this time? So they did this to themselves. Do they need help? Yes. You tell me how we can help all the millions of people that need it. You give me an answer for that, because the sports will always entitle the players. They'll take billions of dollars from Saudis. They'll take billions of dollars from gambling concerns. And they want integrity of the sport. We would call it you speak with a forked tongue. That's an old school thing. And that means you speak out of both sides of your face. And sorry to get a little crazy with it, but these are my beliefs. I believe the best in everybody, and I want to believe that. But I've been disappointed in my whole life. But it's not going to change me. I'm still going to stay positive, still try to put a good show out to entertain you. And one thing we like to do, well, most of us do, we try to tell the truth. And we don't really tell you what you should believe or what you should do, but we just want the truth out there, and we're trying to make you think. And Nick brings up a good point from his perspective. It's still 24 years old.
Because I hear everybody talking about, too, like, you know, they're just saying, like, oh, he's held to a higher standard. But I don't think anybody ever really gets explained down to the specifics, like, why they're held to a higher standard. They influence all ages at a blink of an eye. Good point.
Well,
Especially with social media the way it is today. So
I've been saying this for 20 years. A lot of rich ball players, they have 2-cent brains, which means they can't talk to you and I. So if you want a hero, look at your mother, look at your father, look at an uncle, look at an aunt, an older brother, a sister, look at a relative, look at somebody in the military. Pick your heroes there. And the sports people, there's some rarities like Troy Polamalu and a lot of others that do good things.
J.J. Watt?
Yeah, so, you know, JJ and stuff like that with what he did in Houston. So they can be your heroes if you need a hero. To me, look in your family. My dad was my hero with how he worked a full-time job and he refereed as a side business to keep our family, my 3 sisters and mother and dog and cat and, you know, fish, well fed. And he did his job. So why don't we get back to some of those things? Then a young man like this won't realize, oh, they're just entitling these guys. Well, yeah, let them do it, because we're not following them except to watch what they do. Throw better than you, dunk better than you, hit a golf ball better than you. Okay, I can do that. I watch the show, but they're not my heroes. And I'm done with that. I'm going to move on to what's on my mind. All right, I got Smoking Jim discovered a word that I talked about that people would get good karma on Pittsburgh Sportsline.
Yes, sir.
We were doing shows at Sips Sports Bar, level 20, 10 years ago or so, and we called it on-location shows. So one of our on-location shows, Smoking Jim knows all these beautiful women. He brings one of the most beautiful women on our show, Angel Schifino. Comes from a sports family, good mother with 2 young kids, and they bring up this young, thin, black young man, and his name's Jalen. And we interviewed him, and who would think he loved basketball? His mother, they got disrespected a lot because with the Schifino last name and some things, there's political stuff everywhere in sports and inside and out. You know that, read the history. And she was putting him in schools because she wanted him to be a good basketball player. And guess what? They got some great genes with that Schifino family.
Yes, sir.
Just read the books, a little history. You can check that. And he was a great guest on the show, and we watched him over the years.
7 or 8 when we interviewed
Yeah.
him.
And his mother, was even a guest on the show. We interviewed her a couple times. One time she didn't want Smoking Jim to do it, and he told me, Machine, can you talk to Angel? And I actually talked to Angel, and there was some misunderstanding. Who knows why? So now we have a Pittsburgh Sportsline first ever with a young man that did great at Indiana University, Jalen Hood Schifino. He got approved to be on draft night with the NBA Thursday night because of the first round picks. I predict here he will get picked in the first round. I'm not sure if it's in the top 12, but he's going to get picked in the first round, and that's the good karma from Pittsburgh Sportsline. There you go.
I saw some draft.
What are they saying?
Mock drafts. And I saw one where he wasn't even in the first round. The last mock draft, I saw him going 14th or 15th in the first round.
Yeah,
that would be really, really something special.
Yeah.
Because his mom and her brothers, they played at that place just west of Monroeville.
You got the good compass on. We respect that. And just legendary sports people and his family, and it's just great to hear something like that. So I just wanted to put it out there. Watch for Jalen Hood Schifino somewhere in the top 15. You got it from Chip and I.
We were watching him, and Steph and I were watching him in March Madness, and I said, you remember up at Sips? I said, we interviewed this young man. We interviewed his mom. Oh, yeah. Well, I'm like, we interviewed his mom. And I've been following him when, from the last 2 high school teams he played on won national championships.
Yeah, look at where she got him in the schools.
And she originally had verbally committed to Pitt.
Yes.
And then he decided to rescind that, and he went to Indiana.
Good point.
Isn't it nice to finally have a Schifino with a good attitude?
I'm not touching that one.
We're going to move on. We're going to go. I hate to do it. We're feeding right into the monster. Yeah, Smoking Jim's a monster. The evil dark side's coming out. I'm not talking black or white, but evil. We're going to go to Fiction and Fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac in 10 seconds.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. Congratulations again, Jalen Schifino Hood, and Angel is fine
Hood
as she
Schifino.
can be, ain't she? Schifino.
I think I already said that.
Yes. Woo!
Nice
Oh, my
glasses.
goodness. Thank you, sir. Hey, this one is I'm going to be called the Same Old Steelers. Same Old Steelers. In
Oh, it's
1937.
Smoking Jim. I grew up with that was SOS.
Same Old Steelers.
SOS.
Yep. I got it from you. That Same Old Steelers. I remember you told me that.
That's why I like the Packers instead of the Steelers in the 60s.
Woo. Back in Chip will enjoy this one. And back in 1937, the Pittsburgh Pirates, who was the Steelers at that time, passed on 2-time All-American slinging Sammy Ball from TCU to draft Mike Bazrak, a center from Duquesne University. After Bazrak signed with the Steelers, he broke his leg and only played 2 seasons. Sammy Ball went on to set an NFL record for completions as a rookie, led the league in passing. He also led Washington Redskins to an NFL championship game over the Bears. His 335-yard passing were the most yards in a postseason game by a rookie until 2012 when Russell Wilson broke that mark. Sammy Ball, 10-time Pro Bowler, Hall of Fame, and the first person inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame. Pittsburgh Steelers missed out on one. They could have had Sammy Ball, but they went to Duquesne for a
Smoking
center.
Jim, how many other
Same old Steeler.
how many other quarterbacks did they do that to?
Yes, yes.
And you know why they did it? Art Rooney used to be a drinker.
Wow.
Go back in the books.
He didn't drink and drive, though.
No, he owned a brewery and they drove cars for him. They had horses back
He
then.
didn't have to. He never left the north side.
Oh, man.
Everywhere he needed to go, he could walk, including church.
Thank you, Smoking Jim Frazier.
You're welcome, sir.
All right, we're going to go to Chip's trivia time right now in 10 seconds.
Okay, everybody. For trivia this week, I was thinking about some things because right now we're still in the time frame where Joe DiMaggio's 56-game hitting streak was still ongoing.
Yes.
I believe that ended on the 15th of July, but we'll get more to that later. So I wanted to kind of touch on some baseball records that have very good chance of never, ever getting broken. And the first one I want to touch on is most wins lifetime.
Oh.
Cy Young, they named the awards after him, 511. You don't need to get into the, all the specifics.
Right.
511 wins speaks for itself.
Don't even go complete games and all that.
Okay, some other pitching longevity records that seem certain to withstand a test of time. Jack Chesbro's 41 wins for the New York Highlanders, who were the precursor of the Yankees. Ed Walsh's 464 innings pitched for the Chicago White Sox in 1908. Walter Johnson's 110 shutouts.
Wow.
Nolan Ryan's 5,714 career strikeouts. Most triples in a lifetime. Sam Crawford with 309. Stan Musial retired in 1963 with 177. And nobody has had more than Willie Wilson's 147 since. The records for triples in a single season belong to none other than Chief Wilson's 36 for the Pirates in 1912.
Wow. He must have been an Indian.
The highest career batting average, lifetime, Ty Cobb, 366. Nobody has come within 25 points of Cobb since Ted Williams retired in 1960 with a 344 average.
Wow.
And then, of course, there's the Iron Man. Cal Ripken's 2,632 consecutive games
Yeah.
played. With us giving players off every 3 days, it's never going to happen again. No. Highest batting average in a season. This could be a record that could be close to getting broken this year.
Yeah.
There's a young man in Miami, if you're paying attention, went 5 for 5 last night. It's the second time, I think, within the last 3 games that he went 5 for 5. His season batting average is over 400.
It's amazing. And this is now?
Yeah. One thing Chief wants to put out there, first shout to Mario Tempest, hello. Chief said Roger Hornsby averaging over 400 for 4 years.
Well, and that's it. Roger Hornsby, season batting average of 424. His record stands secure. The last player to hit 400 in a season was Ted Williams. Then there's the 56-game hitting streak. It's number 7. This one's a little more current. You might recognize this gentleman's name, more so because of his son than he. But most grand slams in one inning. Fernando Tatis.
Whoa.
2 in 1 inning in 1999.
Wow.
Most home runs in the World Series. None other than Mickey Mantle. Legendary list topped with Mantle includes Babe Ruth with 15, Yogi Berra with 12, Duke Snider with 11, and Lou Gehrig with 10.
Wow.
Most consecutive no-hitters. Johnny Vandermeer, 2 in 1938. Nobody's done it before. Nobody's going to do it since.
Oh, Anthony Bacco has a good one for you. Roy Face still holds the record for the highest winning percentage in a season, a whopping .947, 18 wins and 1 loss.
18
Chip may
wins
hit
and
that.
1 loss.
Chip
Yes,
was going to hit that. Anthony, you beat him.
As a relief pitcher.
Exactly.
As a relief pitcher.
Then that's impressive.
That's even more impressive because he didn't pitch 1 inning. You know, relief pitchers back in those days they might pick up the ball in the 2nd inning and pitch the rest of the game. Toughest batter to strike out, Joe Sewell.
Whoa.
114 strikeouts in 7,132 at-bats. That is an incredible statistic. He was a perennial 300 hitter, but Aaron Judge has already done that for the season. But the one last record that I would say will never be broken. Okay. And I'm going to go back to a Pittsburgh Pirate. I think I'm going back to the summer 1957. It was in May.
Whoa.
Harvey Haddix pitched 13 innings of no-hit baseball before he lost his no-hitter and the game. And nobody will ever do that again because they don't
keep him in.
They pitch counts. You know, they get 100 pitches under their belts, and that's it. They're going to pull them. But just think about that: 13 innings of no-hit baseball. That is incredible.
That's all. Me being a pitcher, I always respected that and loved that story. Smoking Jim.
We being pitchers.
No, we have no record of that.
Do you think, and maybe Nick can help me out on this too, and El Levine, the Talker Machine, and Johnny. Do you think that anybody?
Johnny who?
Do you think anybody ever get 4,000 hits?
No.
On that point, Smoking Jim, this will feed into you. Randall Bogart says 4,256 most hits ever.
Yes.
Even to Pete Rose.
Yes.
Well, we don't, because he broke the gambling rule and he
on.
signed being guilty. Like imagine, Randall, that you signed a paper and said you were guilty of breaking the gambling rule in baseball, and then you want to get credit for it. You banned yourself. This is why everybody that argues for Pete Rose, another guy was self-destructive, a degenerate gambler.
But he was held accountable.
Yeah.
And for anybody that has questions about whether Pete Rose deserves to be where he is, rules of baseball, Rule 21, paragraph D. Read it, and it's pretty clear. It's in black and white what happens if you are guilty
and he signed.
of breaking the rule.
If they give Bob Huggins a second chance, I can give anybody a second chance.
Thank you.
Get out of here.
Hold it.
Thank you, Nick.
In baseball that the baseball players wouldn't gamble on the games, but they'd gamble on horses.
I got you on a hook, didn't I? That was just supposed to be a swift comment.
No, well, your comment has such a long history that's why they all loved, gambling on horses. I was at the racetrack in the mid-'70s. Delvin Miller, who founded the track, he's sitting in one of the seats at a table. Guess who's sitting there? Joe DiMaggio, Stan Musial, and another couple guys. I wanted to get autographs, but I go, nah, let them do it. They had stacks of losing tickets at their table at each seat. Dozens of stacks, and I told a couple guys, I go, you see who's up there? And they go, yeah, what are you going to do? I go, nothing. I go, they're having a good time like we are. And that's what they do. And certain guys like Pete Rose and some football players in the past, they got caught. They were under surveillance because they were with known bookies and mobsters like Joe Namath was. How come Joe Namath never got caught for gambling? They investigated him. Guess what? He didn't. So if you make it so obvious that you're gambling, like Pete and others, where they believe they're above the law, guess what? I don't have any empathy for you. And Nick, he could have 10 chances but he was known as a degenerate gambler by all the baseball people.
I didn't think there was much baggage behind that comment. I just wanted to make Spoken laugh.
No, well, you're allowed to be humorous. We appreciate you, young puppy, but I'm just giving you a hot topic
And
with me.
Nick, keep going for the laughs.
Yeah, you can keep going there.
Keep going for the laughs.
All right, yeah, you got the laughs. All right, we're going to go to Nick VIP Callis in 10 seconds. I crushed it.
The Pirates have a problem with the catching position. It's not good, and I think I'm finally just jumping off the Austin Hedges wagon here for a second. But here's why. It might not be for what you think, okay? Eddie Rodriguez, a very highly touted catcher in the minor leagues in AAA, talking about how he's better than AAA. He doesn't need to be in AAA anymore. He's ready for the majors. Self-proclaimed hero. Good for him. The Pirates clearly don't think that he's good enough to play in the major leagues because they caught up Henry Davis after he spent 12 or 13 days in AAA.
421 bats in the minor leagues. You bring him up, he's a catcher, and he's playing right field. I object to this whole course of talk.
But here's the twist.
I object.
Here's the twist. He's playing right
Couldn't keep it
field,
in.
and that's kind of where I am. And not only is he playing right field, but they're keeping both Jason DeLay and Austin Hedges on the roster.
What did Shelton say today?
He said something about metrics, and he trusts them, and the pitchers trust Hedges.
And we have the best catching combo in baseball.
You're wrong, Derek Shelton. I hate to say it.
Thank you. I was your straight man. Carry on.
You're wrong about that. I did hear that. And, Shelton said a lot of things, and Shelton says a lot of things because Shelton's the manager. So sometimes I don't really care what Shelton says, although,
Hold it. You're saying a lot of things, and I care about it.
Well, that's great, but Shelton's
You're my co-host.
Shelton's not going to go out there and say, we're screwed. He's not going to say that. He's going to say, yeah, everything's great, everything's fine, good for us. So
he did it.
Here's what I mean. When you bring up Henry Davis, I expect Henry Davis to catch, especially when the Pirates are in the middle of a 7-game losing streak. And as of this moment, they're losing to the Cubs 1-0. So, if you're going to bring Henry Davis up, if you're thinking about bringing Eddie Rodriguez up, let them catch. Let them catch. Don't play the outfield. Let them catch. Jason DeLay, I think, can be sent back down. He's been struggling massively. I don't think that both he and Austin Hedges need to stay on the roster. I think Austin Hedges would be serviceable as a split catcher, split time with Henry Davis. Henry Davis can't make things worse. They're in the middle of a 7-game losing streak. He can't make things much worse. So I've supported Austin Hedges before when he was the guy. Now the Pirates are saying, okay, Henry Davis is good enough as a hitter to make the leap, but we're going to play him in the outfield. I don't love that. I don't think it's a good move, and I borderline hate it. It can be exciting that he's come up and he's making his debut, but it just feels off. It doesn't have the same sort of feeling that it would because he's not playing his primary position. We're watching him play a position that he's being shoehorned into, and I'm not a fan of that. So if you're going to bring him up, let him play catcher. And Austin Hedges batting 175 or something like that, with an OPS under 600, he's got to go if Henry Davis is on the roster. Him or Jason DeLay. One of those two has got to go.
I got to ask you one question. Why did the Pirates pick him as the number 1 pick as a catcher, and he's not catching?
See, I don't have the answer.
I will tell you.
That's the question.
I will tell you the answer.
Yeah.
Whoa, Chip's got the answer.
I'll tell you the answer.
I want to know.
Because what they did that year, they had so much money that they were allotted to spend in the draft.
Right.
And by taking Henry Davis and being able to pay him less money, enabled them to pay people further down in the draft more money to sign.
Yeah.
That's why we took that quarterback away from Bubba Chandler.
Yeah.
Is that his name?
Something
from
like that.
From Clemson. So that was the tactic that they.
It was about the
logic
money.
that they used. And
That's what I
besides
need
that,
to know.
the Pirates, minor league system.
That's my point.
The Pirates minor league system was devoid of catching talent.
Right.
But
we had heard that for years.
And I understand what Nick is saying, and I can't say that I disagree with a lot of what he is saying. But here's what the thing is. The Pirates' problems right now are many, and who's catching for them isn't the most pressing.
What do you mean it's not? The catcher's batting 175. That's terrible. You should know that. Counting these 400 hitters and stuff. 175.
The team's ERA, okay,
Don't want to
starting
hear that.
pitching
I don't care
is
about
over
that.
7 in this 7-game.
He's an automatic.
That is a bigger problem than who's catching.
Look me in the eye and tell me batting 175 isn't an automatic out.
Okay, it's not an automatic out. Because 1.7 times out of 10, it isn't.
Come on.
Well, we're getting a little off subject, but they're losing streak. They're losing streak. If the catcher's so important, how did we give up 52 runs in 7 games and we only scored 17? So your argument with we need hitting makes sense. So why are they ignoring it? Put him in there.
Pitching.
Yeah, but let Rich Hill pitch to Davis. You got a guy with 19 years experience. Davis can just sit there, throw me the ball.
I thought you were going to say let Rich Hill pitch every night.
No. Just one game. Just one game per week. Let him pitch to Davis, and he doesn't have to worry about calling a game correctly. Rich Davis will do what he wants. Rich Hill. Yeah. I'm combining both.
Names.
Yeah.
Don't you have a segment?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wanted to do it, but we got 1 minute and 57 seconds. On location in 10 seconds. It's a short one. I do.
On location.
Oh, it's still up there. Okay. On location. Monsville Prison coming up in August. We're waiting for that. We heard rumors that Ray Schaefer Boxing Association may have a boxing event coming up with Colleen Chaos Davis in July. So we may have a couple little things going on. So it's short and sweet. And I want to thank all of you for your comments and all that. I missed some of them because we got deep into this. I got a little too deep because I have this history of trying to be on the right side, not the wrong side. And I don't want to influence anybody. I just want you to realize the truth. And the truth should set you free. We were told that would happen, but in this day and age, I'll tell you it does not. Here's what sets you free. Money. Then we can talk. But thanks to Smokin' Jim. Thanks for Chip coming back and your insights. Nick, always a pleasure having you with your insights and opinions and then mingling some facts in there. We appreciate that. And your catching history. Thanks to Johnny Mariano came in. The legend MVP, Steve Fisher, who doesn't work at BPTV, ran the control room. And wait till we show Smokin' Jim a device that he has that'll blow his mind. So Smokin' Jim, a little coming attraction after the show. And to all of you, thanks again and keep watching. And hey, you can put your opinions and facts out there and we'll mention it if we see it. Some of it I don't. So please stay Joey strong.
Like